La, naman dito yung assignment eh. Unsang gali to? Tanawin ako sa akong notebook be. What is sexual self? Tanaw tag tutorial. Kani.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is John Rico Tihikale, and we are the Group 2. Today, we will going to share an interesting discussion that you will learn and understand about yourself and our bodies as they grow and mature. This topic will help us understand that everyone has different qualities that make up their self-concept and what makes them unique. But before anything else, I would just like to greet all of you a pleasant and a wonderful day. So, without further ado, let's begin. Our topic for today is sexual self. Before we begin the discussion, let's know the objective first. Objectives: understand the differences between sex and gender. Identify the main changes that happen during puberty. Understand the 3 stages of love and the hormones involved in the process. Articulate the importance of having awareness towards sexuality and gender issues. Discuss the relevance of family planning in the contemporary world. Sexual self refers to an individual's personal understanding of their own sexuality, including sexual desires, preferences, and identity. It encompasses one's thoughts, feelings, and attitudes towards their own sexual experiences and expressions. One of the most important parts of your health and taking care of your body is knowing about your sexuality. Yes, you heard it right. Sexuality. This is not just all about sex. It means understanding all about your body, your feelings, and healthy relationships. Almost every teen thinks that he or she knows all about sex, but sexuality is more than just sex. It's about building, caring relationships, and caring about other people. It's important to ask questions so you remain safe, secure, and responsible. First, let's talk about the difference between sex and gender. I think that most of us already know the difference between sex and gender, especially to those who attended seminars regarding gender and development program. But let's just try to recall it. Sex refers to the biological and physiological differences between men and women. Gender refers to the social and cultural differences between men and women. Sex has 2 main categories, male and female. Gender has 2 main categories, masculine and feminine. Sex remains the same regardless of time and culture. Gender roles, expectations may differ across time and culture. Sex is created by the reproduction needs, that is biological features. Gender distinctions are created by social norms. See, I think that we already know about the difference between the two. So now, let's proceed to our next discussion. For our next discussion, we're going to be talking about what makes us different and what makes us the same. We understand that for some, this may be the first time you're learning about this topic, and for others, these this may be something that you know a lot about, and that is puberty. During our puberty stage, we may feel uncomfortable to talk about our body and puberty with our parents or friends. But it's important we all understand puberty so we can be supportive and respectful of others. So, what is exactly is puberty? What is meant by the term puberty? Puberty is a series of changes that your body will go through as you grow up. Puberty is the stage of the development when a person starts to change from a child to an adulthood. This happens over time and doesn't just happen all at once. A person doesn't just become an adult as soon as puberty begins. There are changes that will occur during adolescence to indicate that a person is going through puberty. Changes include physical, emotional, social, and thinking changes. Now, let's review the 4 OKs. It is perfectly okay. If you feel embarrassed or uncomfortable, the only way for us to overcome this uncomfortable feeling is to learn and grow. We can often feel uncomfortable about things we don't fully understand. But if we take the time to learn about a topic and understand it, we become more educated and comfortable, which creates a supportive environment for everyone. It's okay to be curious and ask questions. It's okay if you don't know this information already. We're all going to learn this together. And it is okay for us to know about each other's bodies and experiences. This helps us to understand one another better and respectful of each individual person regardless of our similarities and differences. How does puberty all happen? Pituitary gland, which is located at the bottom of the brain, sends out chemical messages called hormones. To get things started, hormones travel in the bloodstream to different parts of the body. These hormones then travel into the bloodstream and tell other parts of the body to start changing. They cause changes, allowing children's bodies to grow into adult bodies. When does puberty happen? For those who were assigned a female at birth, they tend to experience changes and puberty between the ages of 7 and 13. While those who were assigned a male at birth, they tend to experience changes and puberty between the ages of 9 and 14. For some individuals, these changes might begin earlier, and for others, the changes might start later. Puberty usually is complete by ages 18 to 20, but it will be different for everyone. Changes of puberty happen at different times for different people. What are the physical changes that happen during puberty? Number 1, hair growth. At puberty, nearly all people experience some growth of hair under the arms, on the legs, and on the pubic area, while the amount of color and texture of hair varies on person to person. No two people are exactly the same, and this is also true of the development of body parts during puberty. Genitals vary in shape, size, and color, and that is normal. Number 2, height and growth. Sometimes people are concerned about their height, not like me, for different reasons. As I said before, everyone starts puberty at different times. This can affect height and means some take long to grow. This can make some people feel that they are too short or too tall. A lot of that depends on your family. If your parents are tall, chances are you'll be taller too. Everyone is different and grows according to their own schedule. You'll continue to grow and off until your late teens. Shoulders. As you grow through puberty, if you have the higher levels of testosterone, you will see your shoulders and chest broaden. Breast and hips Everyone has some of from form of breast growth and changes during puberty. For people assigned female at birth, their breast will grow and the hips or pelvis will shift and widen during puberty. This change helps to make room for all parts where a baby will grow and make it possible for them to give birth. Even if your body does produce testosterone, you may notice some minor temporary breast changes or development. This is a result of hormones changing in your body and the body trying to regulate them. Voice changes. When a person with higher testosterone levels reaches puberty, the larynx, also known as the voice box, begins to grow and the vocal cords get longer and thicker. When the larynx grows larger during puberty, it sticks out at the front of the throat, and this is what we called Adam's apple. During female puberty, menstruation starts when the body's reproductive system is fully developed and potentially capable of getting pregnant. Menstruation usually begins around age 12 or 13. Although age can vary, generally about 2 years into puberty, and happens about once per month afterward. Some people experience symptoms before during their period, as such as mood changes or cramps. During male puberty, spermatogenesis begins. This is the process of sperm production in the testes. Spermatogonia, which are immature sperm cells, undergo mitosis and meiosis to develop into mature spermatozoa. This process is regulated by hormones secreted by the pituitary gland. Emotional and social changes during puberty. While going through puberty, you might experience some emotional changes. You might have more mood changes with highs and lows, feel lonely at times, or you may want to be alone, want to make your own choices, want to be liked by friends, start to have romantic feelings for a person. While growing up and going through puberty, kids will likely experience major changes to their bodies as a result of physical changes that occur. There are emotional and social impacts that may result from them changes because the hormones in our bodies are constantly fluctuating during puberty. It may impact a person's feeling and emotions are also changing. For the final thoughts, always remember that everyone goes through puberty. Puberty is a normal part of growing up. The timing for puberty can look different for everyone. Reach out to a trusted adult if you have questions. Now that you have a better understanding of the changes that you and everyone around you will experience during puberty, it's important to remember that you are not alone. Everyone goes through puberty. It is a normal part of growing up and becoming an adult. After knowing the difference between sex, gender, and also with puberty, now let me call on Mr. Francis Tedbohol to discuss about the 3 stages of love and hormones involved in the process.
The 3 stages of love and hormones involved in the process. The feeling of being in love can not only have an effect on our brain, but it can also lead to changes in human physiology and behavior. According to scientists from around the world, each stage of love for another human may be driven by the release of different hormones. The first phase of falling in love is the lust or the desired phase. Lust is a craving for sexual satisfaction, which is a feeling that evolves in humans to motivate union with a single partner. During this phase, men and women both release healthy amounts of testosterone and estrogen. In females, estrogen plays a role in vaginal health, longing for physical closeness with a mate, while in men, testosterone drives sexual desire, openness, and seductiveness. You may be feeling lost if you relate to any of the following characteristics. If your feelings are only sexual in nature, If someone becomes less attractive after you recognize their flaws, you want to become intimate with the person who inspired the feelings in you. So if you have this kind of characteristics, you're not in love. You're just feeling lost. The second one is attraction. This is the next stage where you feel a strong attraction to your partner. You get obsessed with them. In this stage, you're strongly motivated to pursue your potential partner. The hormones belong to this are adrenaline, dopamine, and serotonin that involve in the attraction phase. Adrenaline is a hormone that is released during the human stress response. Dopamine is a hormone that plays a role in motivation, addiction, attention, and desire, while serotonin is a hormone which acts as a neurotransmitter and plays a role in maintaining mood balance, sleep, memory, sexual desire, and sexual function. Lastly is the attachment. Attachment is a predominant factor for long-term relationship. The two major hormones involved in the attachment phase are oxytocin and vasopressin, which both play a role in social and reproductive behaviors in humans. Oxytocin, also referred to as the love hormone, is released during the attachment phase in correlation with physical touch. Vasopressin is another hormone released after physical touch that initiates the desire to stay with that particular individual and develops a strong emotional attachment. The attachment phase brings a feeling of calmness, security, a desire to protect one another, emotional union, and most importantly, comfort. So, all of these are part of the three stages of love and the hormones and its processes.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Bukinya, and I'm going to discuss about gender stereotypes. Gender stereotypes are all around us, whether we like it or not, both grown-ups and kids influenced by them. So what is gender stereotypes? Gender stereotypes can be described as oversimplified and overgeneralized beliefs about what men and women are like, and what traits and behaviors are expected of them, or considered appropriate. Before we even born, naana ni siya. These stereotypes are in a form of gift nga na-receive when the announcement of pregnancies. These gifts usually range from bows and onesies, with the word Mommy's Little Princess for not yet born girls, and trucks and Daddy's Little Hunk for boys. After we are born, the gendering continues with the language we use, suggesting that boys are tough and girls are delicate. Gender stereotypes also shown up in the toys. Most people offer dolls, cooking sets, or art supplies to girls, while boys mga train tracks or tool set, sahay ka ng mga espada-espada. These are often without second thought if ang bata is ganahan ba. Also, sa children clothing store, they offer overwhelming amounts of pink and purple for girls and blue and green for boys. Also, as we grow, we encounter gender stereotypes outside our homes, within friends group at school. Usually, boys hang out with other boys and girls hang out with girls. These are generalization, but we get the idea even in our homes. We find nga gi-encourage ang girls to help in the laundry, kanang manilhig, water the plants, and boys with the maintenance. So, where do these stereotypes and generalization came from? They aren't simply built into our biology. We learn them like language. We learn them through our interaction with others, through social media, even face to face, through the way our actions labeled by others. We are influenced by our parents and the world around us. Stereotyping oversimplifies people, overlooking their individuality and diversity. It limits understanding and can prolong unfair judgments or biases, hinder connections and opportunities for growth. It is important to stop stereotyping and promote fairness, understanding, and respect of individual differences. It allows for genuine connection and avoid unjust assumption based on preconceived notions, fostering a more inclusive and compassionate society. So that's all for my part. Thank you all for listening.
Hello, everyone. I hope you are still listening to our discussion. I mean, the discussion of my co members. So, today I will also present my presentation, which is diving deeper into other sexuality. As we grow and become mature, we may find ourselves filled with hormones, emotions, or feelings that are strange and unfamiliar. Because running through this sexual orientation or sexuality, it can be confusing and hard, especially to teenagers who don't feel like they don't have a place to fit in. So, in this aspect, it is very important to educate ourselves about these few important things to know about sexuality. So first is a person's sexual orientation can be fluid and change throughout their life because naman may uban yung kanang nakabalo na sila silang sexuality ever since like at the very early stage sa ilang life. But nasa uban yung kanang wala pa nila na-discover or wala pa sa nila nasabtan. So the second is teens can discover their sexual orientation without being sexually active. So uban yung kanang initiate gani sila conversation about sexual attracted kanang ma-attract sila og kanang tao, it doesn't always mean nga kanang sexually active sila. Then second is it's not possible to change someone's sexual orientation. However, teenagers feel supported through the use of their pronouns by their sexual orientation and gender identity. So the last one is it's helpful to give teens space to explore and discover their own sexual orientation. So let us now proceed to an overview of the types of sexuality. So understanding these basics about some of the most common sexuality can help us better connect to other people. So first is the straight or heterosexual. So straight or heterosexual attracted mostly to people of the opposite sex or gender. So cisgender and transgender individuals can identify as heterosexual. Next is gay or homosexual. Homosexual attracted mostly to people of the same sex or gender like sa men or sa boys. But now, gina-refer po ni siya sa kanang mga women na ma-attract sila hang same gender or same sex. So next is lesbian. So lesbian attracted mostly to people of the same sex or gender. It refers to women. Kanang girl na ito sa yahang kanang kapwa girl. Yana. So next is bisexual. Bisexual attracted to both men and women, though some people refer to bisexual as pansexuality as it denotes an attraction to a broader sexual orientation than just the two stereotypical genders. In addition to the other sexuality is the pansexual. Pansexual attracted to romantic and sexual partners of any gender, any sex, or sexual identity, while ang polysexual is like an opposite of the pansexual. Although ang polysexual kay also attracted to romantic and sexual partners to many, but not all gender, not all sexes or sexual identity. While ang asexual do not experience sexual attraction and does not also desire to act on sexual attraction. Although they may feel or experience romantic attraction to any gender, but they are not interested in getting physical in more traditional sense. While ang queer or ang fluid, it is a way of expressing themselves by their own personal feelings. Like a gender fluid, it relates on how a person identifies themselves internally and how they also presents to the world. Like for example, a gender fluid person may identify themselves as a male one day and then the next day a female, or there could also be times na neither. So the last one is demisexual. So demisexual experience sexual attraction if there is a context nga naay emotional connection or romantic connection. So any struggle or any problems sa pag-understand of who they are may lead to gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria is a sense of unease that a person may have because of a mismatch between their biological sex and their gender identity. Since we are done about the other sexuality, let us now proceed to the gender issues. So, as we are dealing with gender issues, this context traps men and women through stereotyping on how they should feel, how they should think and behave. So, these are just one of the few gender issues. Although men and women may each be differently affected by gender issues, but studies and experience show that women are in the more disadvantaged in this position. In this context, people should be able to know and understand the effects of these gender issues. So the first gender issues is marginalization. It forces women into the periphery of economic and social life and of the decision-making process. So this marginalization minimizes the importance of women's contributions to the process of national development through their activities. Next one is gender stereotyping. It attributes a set of favorable or unfavorable characteristics, roles, and traits. The third one is multiple burden. So, ang kaning multiple burden, it is about engaging in any of these realms that reduces a person's time for self-care and the time for pursuit of their true passion. The fourth one is subordination. So, subordination, one sex is under the submission or the authority of another sex. In most cases, in women, the women rather are under the subordination of the men. This situation often results to women having lesser or no control at all over available economic and other resources. So this subordination, it is the domination of a man over women or vice versa. So one of the gender issue is violence. It is any act that instills fear and pain to abuse a person. So naay two type of violence. First is domestic violence. Domestic violence may or can happen at home. Although domestic violence does not necessarily mean about physical violence, but it is also a behavior that has a purpose to gain power or control over his intimate family member, over his or her partner, over his or her girlfriend or boyfriend. And then the sexual harassment, on the other hand, a violence that can occur in the workplace manifested as verbal, visual, gestural, and physical sexual harassment. One of his example is making unnecessary physical contact and unwanted touching, also saying language that means to put someone down or making comments about men or women. Although these are just a few things about gender issue, it is important to know about these because it will help us to eliminate or reduce gender issue and to be sensitive among others individual about their differences. Let us all be reminded that it is important to educate ourselves about this aspect. So now let us welcome the other reporter to further discuss about our topic.
Alright guys, so the next topic that we have is family planning. What is family planning? Family planning allows people to decide when and if to have children using the information, means and methods that they need to do so. So family planning is a cheap road, however, it is definitely a great topic that we can dive into. So imagine having a world or a community wherein family planning is something people are not aware of. They do not know the importance of having family planning. They are not educated about the methods of doing so. So being pregnant unexpectedly may be simply overlooked as a personal crisis. However, we need to emphasize that it also affects staggering national and even global costs. Guys, having a child comes with a lot of responsibilities. You need to be emotionally, mentally, financially ready to have one. Alright, there are also a lot of health benefits to children when it comes to having a family planning. So it ensures better chance of survival at birth. It promotes better childhood nutrition, promote physical growth and development, prevent birth defects. So we will proceed with the benefits it has to a mother. So it can reduce the health risk. So below 20 years old and above 35 years old at risk of developing complications during pregnancy. Next is the physical strain of childbearing. It also reduces number of maternal death, reduce the risk of ovarian cyst. And apart from that, there are also benefits it can have to a father. So it allows a father to keep a constant balance between their physical, mental, social well-being. It also increases a father's sense of respect because he is able to provide the type of education and the home environment. So guys, family planning isn't just beneficial to the mother, but as well as to the child and the father. As we all may have been aware of, financial difficulties are one of the reasons that parents are given. Here are also different planning methods that are available here in the Philippines. So the most common ones are condoms. So, due to their accessibility, ease of use, and dual protection against both unintended pregnancies and sexually transmitted infections. We also have contraceptive pills. It is widely used by women for hormonal contraception, offering a reversible method of family planning. We do have the natural family planning as well, which emphasizes the awareness of fertility cycles. So, this method is chosen by those who prefer non hormonal approaches. Lastly, we have the injectables hormonal injections. These are convenient for those who prefer a longer acting method. So, potential consequences of not practicing family planning: unintended pregnancies, overpopulation, maternal child health risk, limited opportunities, increased poverty, increased risk of unsafe abortion, impact on women's empowerment. With an expected pregnancy, there will be a chance that the supposed to be profession that you want as a career woman will be put aside due to your child's need. With this, it is very important that we will be able to plan ahead a certain pregnancy and practice safe sex, making sure that when we become a parent, we are ready of the responsibilities that come with raising a child.
As we end our presentation, I'll just give you a piece of advice. A healthy relationship with someone that you care about is important for your health. You always deserve to be treated well. If you feel like the person you love or care deeply about is not treating you well, be sure to talk with someone about it. You deserve better. If you think that you deserve better, letting go will be the best decision ever. Thank you so much for listening. My name is John Rico Tiikale, and we are the Group 2. Have a blessed day, everyone.